Thank you, sweetie. I love you. That's so nice. Hi, kiddos.
Your hair.
My hair, okay.
Today is a special day.
Yes.
What is it today, Daddy? What is it today, Tasha?
Let's go and check. Okay, let's go in, guys. Okay, go in, you guys. This way, in the door.
Which door? The middle door.
Oh.
Can you push the button?
Hello. Because I hate it.
Hello. Hi, Hannah. What's happening here? Okay.
The combination of man-made construction and humans is an interesting one. The images are cropped and each subject carefully selected. The result is stunning, and for those of you that have had a chance to see it already, you already know that. In each of the photos, both personality and culture are clearly reflected, leaving the viewer with so many questions and concerns for these peoples who are so different than those found in the Western world, yet so similar. Faces is not only an aesthetic splendor, but also a reminder that we are all connected. And as you go through and look at the works, it's just incredible to see the different places that Keith has been and what he's been able to capture in the faces of the individuals, as well as in the architecture. And I know most of you, Keith is no stranger, but for those of you who may not know a little bit about his background, I'd like to just take a moment and tell you a little bit about Keith and introduce him, and then he will come up and say a few words to you. Keith Levit first picked up a second-hand camera 25 years ago. The ensuing years have seen Keith creatively pursue his concept of merging photography and art. Although based in Winnipeg, many of Keith's images have been created during his extensive travels throughout Africa, Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and North and South America. His passion for photography, love of travel and adventure, coupled with his honest affection for people, embody images that capture the heart and soul of some of the world's most remote regions and the people who inhabit them. Keith transcends the medium of travel photojournalism, capturing the mystical beauty, harmony, and hardships of the inhabitants of these lands. And in addition to his travel photography, Keith has also worked extensively with architectural images, which you'll see on this side. Recently, Keith has been interested in creating a library of architectural images that see buildings and their intricate details with new insights and perspective. Inspiration for his work has been found in many of the world's great cities. We aim to please. That was good timing though, wasn't it? Inspiration for his work has been found in many of the world's great cities, from Paris to Moscow, Beijing to New York. Keith's focus on Winnipeg heritage buildings is also widely recognized and respected. On permanent display at the Winnipeg International Airport is an exhibit of Keith's work that explores classic architecture within Winnipeg and captures the legacy of the city's great buildings. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to have a delegation of about 20 people here tonight from the Winnipeg Airport that are interested in seeing your work. Keith is actively involved in the community. Where you find the time, I have no idea. He was the official photographer of the Pan American Games held in Winnipeg in the summer of 1999 and the North American Indigenous Games in 2002. Recently, his work has included photographing the live performances. I tried to do this without my glasses, so I'm stumbling over a couple of words. Recently, his work has included photographing the live performances for the Royal Winnipeg Ballet and other community dance and theatrical groups. Keith's work has been widely exhibited throughout Canada, and we are delighted to be showcasing his photographic work here. Please welcome Keith Levit.
I'm really overwhelmed by the number of people who have come out to see my work. It's such an honor to have so many people to have the interest in my passion, my photography. I'm really delighted, and thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Firstly, I'd like to thank Stephanie and Monique for all they have done to make this exhibit possible. I am so pleased with this beautiful space in one of Winnipeg's landmark buildings. Also, thank you to Irene for your kind words, and to the people at Tavern on the Park for the food and service. Many hours are involved in preparing for a show like this, from selecting images to printing and mounting of the selected images. Without the help, support, and encouragement of my wonderful and talented wife, Linda, with her flair for design, none of this would have been possible. Also, my girls, Vanessa, Natasha, Hannah, and Marina, had to put up with their dad continually showing them the latest print coming off the printer. I appreciate and love all of you so much. I'm so sorry that my mother and father and sisters Diane and Shelley weren't able to attend this evening. It was my mother and father who instilled in my sisters and I the love of travel and adventure. So it's not surprising, therefore, that they are all away traveling and exploring. My mom and dad and Shelley and niece Tara are in PEI, while Diane is traveling with her family in Italy. It seems like only yesterday, over 25 years ago, that my dad called me into his bedroom. He was cleaning out his closet and had his old cameras laying out on his bed. He said I could have my pick. So I chose an old Rolleiflex twin lens camera. I took the camera to the Sears at the Garden City Shopping Center, went to their camera department, bought a roll of film, learned how to load it, and immediately went out shooting. The results were just awful. See, there's no automatic settings for those type of old cameras. But I didn't give up. A few years later, I was given a Nikon Nikkormat FT3 camera for a high school graduation present. A few months later, my sister Diane, who was 24 at the time, was given the job of planning our family's winter holiday. Diane, also caught by the travel and adventure bug, planned a family trip to South America. New camera, South America, enthusiastic budding photographer, do I need to say more? The result of this first adventure trip with a new camera was the photo that you see in the corner there, called the Isophoto. It won first place in the Joseph Karsh photo contest back in 1979. And that's all it took. 25 years later, thousands upon thousands of photos later, I'm exhibiting here just a handful of selected photos that I feel are an important part of my collection, including 2 photos taken way back in 1979 in South America, 25 years ago. 5 to 6 years ago, with Linda's strong influence, I started to take my urban photography more seriously. Linda taught me the beauty in details. It is amazing how the architectural details found in some of Winnipeg's buildings compare favorably with those found in such great cities as Paris, New York, and London. And now I have a collection of urban classic photographs that I'm quite proud of, some of which I've selected to display here. My urban photos include a collection of Winnipeg heritage buildings, which are displayed in City Hall, as well as in the International Arrivals Lounge at the Winnipeg Airport. My collection of faces play a very important part in my world of photography. Seeing my faces on these walls today reminds me of how fortunate I've been in my life. When I look at these faces today, I am able to relive that amazing moment in time. Oh, come on here. Of actually being in that storybook setting, interacting with these people. For example, the Maasai woman kneeling by the stream. I do remember the beautiful morning light in her face and on the landscape. It still amazes me to think that it was me that this woman was looking at only a few feet away. Or the girl with the braided hair, standing in front of a brightly textured wall in a monastery in Tibet. It was a magical setting, a magical moment, and I was there. This girl is actually looking at me. What a feeling that is. And it is how I feel each time I look at any of the faces you see in this wall. How fortunate I am. Each of these photos tell a story. And this leads me to share with you a dream of mine which is only now starting to come true. After several attempts over the past few years, I finally succeeded in completing a handcrafted version of my book entitled Faces. I have selected 33 of my most meaningful portraits, 20 of which form part of this exhibit, and combined with them my personal story about each photograph. My faces tend to be close-up portraits of my subjects, so in order to tell the story more effectively, I've also selected an image that puts the face into context, and in some way shows the setting which the photo was taken. Example? Each of these photos, together with the story, are placed opposite the main portrait. I'm delighted with the results of the book. And I must say that without the hard work of several great people, this book wouldn't be here today. My assistant, my right and left hand, Andrea Seda, helped in so many ways with both the text and production of this version of the book. As well, Monique, where's Monique? Waving in the back, worked very hard and long hours with text editing. Gustavo Riemberg, my friend and talented graphic designer, took all my crazy ideas of design and made sense of them and helped create a beautiful designed book. Thank you so much to all of you. You all deserve so much credit. I'd also like to thank Stephanie for writing the preface. And lastly, and most importantly, once again, my wife Linda supported and encouraged me throughout the entire process. And put up with me. The books that I have here today for sale are handcrafted, custom printed. The printing process is the same as that used for the exhibited prints. Each print is then laminated and assembled by hand. I must say that this process is a labor of love, as so many hours are spent on each book. I do intend to produce a published version of the book. If you are interested, please give us your contact information. We'll let you know when the published books are available. Now, if you bear with me for just a minute, I'd like to read to you the short introduction found in the book. Introduction. I'm passionate about my photography. Ever since being handed an old camera by my dad about 25 years ago, photography has been my true passion in life. My love of adventure and travel has always been coupled with my photography. I couldn't imagine exploring the world without my camera in tow. My camera motivates me to climb the higher peak, to travel greater distances. A sunrise, sunset, a landscape, or a friendly face is so much more beautiful when my camera is by my side. The images in this book have been selected from many thousands of photographs I've taken over the years. My goal in the selected images is to convey the true personality of each subject. Achieving that authenticity is the great challenge of portrait photography. Unlike candid work, I do not have the luxury of removing myself from sight and capturing an image without the subject's awareness. Indeed, for many of my images, found in this book, I was a mere inches from the faces I was photographing. As a photographer, the challenge then is to make eye contact with the subject. Have them look directly at you and the camera, and then to have them move beyond your presence and ignore you completely. This last requirement often involves a lot of patience and is often not achieved. Many people do not express their true selves when a lens is near. They tend to be louder and larger than they are in reality. It is the job of a photographer to strip away that mask and recognize a genuine moment. There must be a subject that draws you in for whatever the reason. Then a dialogue must begin. A language barrier often exists and words are not spoken. Nevertheless, communication is essential. Tone of voice, facial expression, body language, all must communicate before your subject is ready to face the camera.
One of your subjects isn't cooperating.
It's not easy, I told you. Such moments are often fleeting, and timing is of the essence. A photographer must be ready to seize an opportunity the moment it presents itself. In my life, I've been fortunate to come across many such opportunities while traveling abroad and here in Canada. I've learned that when you reach out to people, no matter how foreign the setting, the rewards are many, and one is motivated to do more. With a camera by my side, the job is a pleasure. Once again, thank you for everyone for coming out today. I truly appreciate so much your support of my photography. Thank you.
That concludes the formal part of the evening, so please enjoy the works, enjoy the food. There's a bar set up in the gallery just to my right. And if you are interested in the book that Keith mentioned, we'll take your contact information down over here at this table. Thank you again for coming and enjoy the evening.